Joel Creeper is an administrator in the Yandere Simulator server hired by YandereDev to manage the server and develop the Yandere Simulator Discord bot. Obviously, I've not had the best of encounters with the Yandere Simulator team because of my videos about them. However, Joel was different, and Joel is a very concerning individual. Joel got called out by several people for sending weirdly indecent messages and emojis to minors. These messages stretched from joking about touching their breasts, calling them melons as such, to sending emojis of hands grabbing drawn breasts. Before I continue discussing this, I'd like to quickly mention the red button down below. I'm on track to 10,000 subscribers, which is literally astonishing, and I want to say a thank you to every single one of you when I hit it. But before then, please do subscribe. I might run a giveaway when I hit it, and to enter, just subscribe and comment that you did so. No promises on the giveaway, but depending on how my channel does, I may be able to make it work out. Now, me and YandereDev have had a private agreement for me to stop discussing his game and his drama if he released Osana, unless he got himself in another drama that I felt I had something important to say about. I want to make it very clear that the claims made against Joel are true. 100% without a doubt, I can guarantee it. I can say with certainty that Joel has done the things he's been accused of. That's why I wanted to cover it. And if you're wondering how I know Joel has done these things, I'll tell you. I know because Joel has sent me similar messages too, from him telling me to speak to YandereDev I should put fries on my stomach around my breasts and chicken nuggets on my nipples, with him ending that conversation with put some on you and I'll gently eat away, JK, unless. Which is one of the most concerning messages I've ever received in my life. Literally like a call for help to show me a photo if you actually do it. Oh, don't worry though, it's fine because he said JK afterwards. There's also been times where Joel has sent me messages like, noms away at the fries and getting around to your boobs, nom. Which is really creepy if you ask me. These messages were sent from a consenting adult to someone who was 15 at the time. These were extremely inappropriate messages, and Joel's also sent me messages with emojis grabbing drawn breasts and the very appropriate I saw you offline, scared of being licked, and more. These chats weren't appropriate at all, and I think it's extremely important that people are aware of this behavior from Joel. He's now deleted his Discord account, however, he may have other ways to engage with the community, though not officially or directly, as I think he got kicked from the team by YandereDev. What I think is important to highlight is the behavior of Joel and what this behavior represents and says about YandereDev. If you don't know, YandereDev has also been exposed for very concerning things when talking about minors and to minors, from saying that people below 18 should be able to get a sex license to have sex instead of there being an age limit, to some weird emotes of female asses and the dodgy videos involving the cum chalice and him reviewing body pillows and selling body pillows of underage characters from his game. Did I also mention he put underage characters in a game too, which involved nudity? Yeah, that really did happen, didn't it? YandereDev is extremely weird and has said and done many weird things. Joel also being this way should tell a lot about YandereDev's staff team and should suggest that his hiring procedure is either extremely loose and he barely researches who he hires, or that he's fully aware of people like Joel's actions and doesn't care because he either supports it or is just ignorant. If these people are allowed control in YandereDev's server, that's extremely problematic and worrying, as Yandere Simulator has a large audience of minors, whether YandereDev is willing to admit that or not. So this is a public warning. Joel and many more Yandere Simulator staff members act like this, and I wouldn't recommend getting engaged with them in any way, especially if you're a minor. I know because I've experienced it myself, which means that it's very possible you could experience it too. Behavior like this should never be tolerated, ever. Now on to another thing. When I covered Lovesick months ago, Dr. AP's quit, likely because of the claims made against them that they'd allegedly groomed minors. Now, I'm not here to verify or question the validity of these claims. I've mentioned them before, though I've never really been comfortable discussing allegations like those in depth because of the seriousness of them. However, Dr. AP's quit after my videos, deleting their Twitter. When Dr. AP's cancelled Love Letter, I received a sickening amount of comments and DMs claiming that I was responsible for Dr. AP's quitting because I'd covered stories against them. I don't think this behavior is acceptable or okay at all. Nobody is ever responsible for someone else's actions and mental health. This same thing happened when the Game Sleuth quit. I think it's very important to highlight that I discuss people and their actions to criticize them, not to cancel them and not to make them quit. It is not my responsibility if they can't take the backlash of their own actions. Quickly returning back to Yandere Simulator, however, I've recently reinvested myself in the updates of the game and developments of the drama. It's interesting to see the drama slowly fading away, and I'm interested to see how the game progresses. However, there's one thing I think is important to highlight about YandereDev's response to people asking why the game is taking so long. The reasons consisted of the following: prank calls to his phone, weird things being sent to his house, his personal information being posted, suicide, people attempting to hack him, people sending lengthy essays why he should take his life, people flagging his social media, people trying to convince his team members to stop contributing, people submitting false reports to the police in an attempt to get the SWAT team to show up, people spamming him with gifts of gore, etc, etc. And he even attached a handy little diagram for it. I want to discuss why these excuses are dumb and make no sense as to why progression has slowed down so much, to the point where the graph has literally hit 0. Looking at the graph, it's very misleading on how much progress has happened alongside the harassment he's received, and why I think this point is ridiculous. Firstly, he claims he's receiving the most harassment he's ever received now, although drama is decreasing. It makes no sense and doesn't correspond at all with real life evidence. Also, these reasons, really YandereDev? Because you get prank calls, get sent things and post things online, your progression has slowed down? The only actual point in these reasons are that people are posting your personal information, that people are convincing team members to quit, and that people are submitting false police reports. The other half of the reasons are invalid. If progression slows down so much because of these things, close your DMs, stop constantly replying to emails, and turn off your phone, or get a new phone number. Then, your problem is completely resolved. You don't receive messages that slow you down if you stop reading messages all the time, and you receive positive messages all day. Why do they not affect your progression? Because it's an excuse. Progression is slowing down because of your own actions and your inability to put your phone down for 5 fucking seconds. I thought you'd have stopped using excuses by now, but you haven't. You still rely on misleading your audience to not lose your support, and that is disgraceful. Finally, there's one more website page YandereDev has started sharing, discussing why 2020 has had so much drama for him, and there's one section I'd like to highlight more than anything. That would be the alleged YouTube character assassination, running with the idea that if you spread something positive, it won't gain traction, so nobody discusses the positive. Now, I'd like to point out how easy it is to prove that false by showing the video I made, which is now deleted, about Yandere Simulator. The first video I ever made about it, titled Stop Attacking YandereDev, a video where I discuss how criticism is fine, but harassing him is a whole new issue and isn't okay. This video was one of my best performing videos about YandereDev at the time, and I called out platforms like r/Osana, which resulted in them hating me and making several threads about me, because I provided a new perspective about him and his fans. I feel like that should very clearly debunk YandereDev's claim. I do get what he's trying to say, that people talk about negatives more than positives. However, the way he's wrote this statement is a complete fabrication of the facts, because a narrative can be entertaining whether it's positive or negative. Also, YandereDev uses this point to make it look like the claims made against him aren't true by only mentioning extreme claims like that you're an alleged I'd like to point out how much of a manipulatory technique this is. You try to silence actual criticism of your actions, like when you put your 17-year-old characters in a game, by bringing up extreme claims. It's gonna shit me. By bringing up extreme claims that are less true. You're still responsible for a large amount of the claims made against you, and you need to understand and accept that. It's as simple as taking accountability, something you've never done and probably will never do. Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you have enjoyed it, and if you have, make sure to subscribe and leave a comment about what you think of it and this topic. I've wanted to make this video for ages because of my uncomfortable engagement with Joel. However, I didn't really feel comfortable covering it because at the time it really was affecting me, and because Joel had a grip over me, because he was my only way of staying properly connected with YandereDev. I'd also like to notify you that this video happened because people voted for it on my poll, so keep your eyes out for community posts, and if you respond to it, you could affect the videos I make in the future. So I hope it's entertained you, and hope nobody is mad that I'm temporarily returning to this drama. Feel free to press the red button below, and check out my retrospective review of Cyberpunk from playing through the game, which I posted on New Year's as the clock struck 12. With that being said, I'll see you next time. Peace. Just as a little off-script message to Joel, I would recommend that in the future, you never do this again. You should never send these types of messages to anyone without their consent, especially not minors, because they're extremely creepy and you're just damaging your reputation for the future by doing so. I found these messages extremely uncomfortable, but I know I probably didn't have it the worst out of some of the other messages that have been leaked about you. So please never do anything like this again, and please maybe just step away from the internet for a little bit, take a look at yourself and think about your actions, because how you acted towards me and other people was extremely unacceptable and unwarranted and disgraceful. You represented someone else like YandereDev really poorly, and whether he knew about it or not, these actions are still your own, and you deleting your account on Discord and not taking accountability for your actions, instead just disappearing completely, instead of just taking the blame, apologizing and admitting fault, is disgraceful. It upsets me that you can't take accountability and you decided to delete your account over just admitting to your faults and taking responsibility and apologizing for the people you wronged. Anyway, thanks for watching, and yeah, I guess I will see you in potentially another Yandere Simulator video soon. I have no idea. If you want more videos covering more stuff like this, you can always ask for them in the comments. Let me know, leave a like. If you don't, that's fine. And yeah, I'll see you next time.
Says she wanna rock when it like me. I'm a stylish guy. Spend a little guap when it like me. We can catch a fly. Says she wanna rock when it